Well, good morning, everyone. This is Joel Bagling with HiMonkey. I want to welcome you to the Kentico User Group, our webinar series, and wanted to make sure that all of you are in the right place, which I think you must be. Our presenter today is Brenden Kehren. He's going to be going into a great presentation around the enterprise management system of Kentico. But first, before we start, I'll turn it over to Brenden so he can introduce himself to all of you. Just a couple of quick ground rules and a little background. I'll be watching for questions for those of you that already know how the webinar format works, and especially with GoToWebinar, there's an area for you to ask a question. I'll try and watch for those, and then if it's something that can wait till the end, that's fine. We'll maybe grab some of those, or if it's in context to answer right away, I'll kind of interrupt Brenden and let him know that there's a question out there. Also, too, just want to let everyone know that the Kentico User Group is sponsored by a number of different Kentico partners, Brenden being one, HiMonkey being another. We have other webinar sessions coming up, so I always encourage you to go to the kenticousergroup.org website and look at those future sessions. This year we switched it up a little bit where we're doing only webinars. We'll look to see next year how that's going to shape up and figure out if we're going to continue that, or maybe we'll try and actually do some in-person sessions as well. And the other thing, just to remind everyone too, is that there is also an archive of sessions that we've done in the past. This presentation today from Brenden will become part of that archive. So I always encourage you to go back and look at those if you're interested. And if you do have any suggestions, we have a very simple online form on the Kentico User Group website. Any topics in particular you'd like to discuss. We try to mix it up, have sometimes a business focus, sometimes a more product feature focus, sometimes we've done technical deep dives. So we're open to any and all possibilities. This is about reaching out and educating the users of Kentico. It's not about being shameless self-promoters or anything else. We felt this was a good way to help connect the Kentico community and provide some education. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Brenden. Please go ahead, and it's your show. I'll join in the end if there's any questions and things like that.
Great, thanks, Joel. Hi, everyone. My name is Brenden Kehren with Kehren Development. Joel invited me to speak at the user group, and the topic I picked today is about Kentico EMS, and those of you who are on Kentico CMS and looking for an avenue to migrate over to EMS. So I'm going to give you a little bit about me and who I am, what I do, things like that. Here's just a quick intro. If you follow me on Twitter, I am a horrible hunter. I've hunted for the majority of my life, and unfortunately I don't usually come home successful most years. My wife is pretty adamant that I'm not a good hunter because of that. So according to my 4 children, I'm the worst dad ever. But according to my wife, I'm the best husband, so can't beat that. I'm a small business owner. My business consists of 2 employees, myself and my partner. We're expanding slowly into a little bit more, getting a little bit larger. I'm a Kentico fanatic. You'll often find me on the Kentico DevNet answering questions on Stack Overflow. The majority of my Twitter posts and LinkedIn posts are about Kentico. I am a mediocre speaker. You'll find out shortly how mediocre I am. I speak enough a couple times a year. Up until a couple years ago, I hadn't spoke for quite a few years, probably when I was back in college. But at any rate, you'll find that I've got some good information to share with you. I am an educator. I like to share the information that I know with everybody else. And even if there is a lot of information, I hope that somebody gets at least one nugget they can take home with every speaking event I have. I'm always a developer. Front-end development, back-end development, those are what I do. When it comes to you know, talking about EMS and being a salesperson, things on that line, that's second, you know, those are secondary things to me. I focus on getting things functioning and working right away. So here is my family. This is what really drives me to do what I do every day. Up in the top left is all 6 of us. My wife, Heather, of 18 years this year. You can get a good look at all my kids here on the far right. From left to right is Keegan, Lydia, Sawyer in the back, and my little Reese in the front. They are 12, 5, Sawyer in the back is 10, and Reese is 5. We're always risk takers. We always like to have an adventure, hence my 12-year-old taking my 5-year-old's bike off a homemade wooden jump into the street. And every now and then we get out and do some family activities, go out and go camping, do color runs, go out on our boat, things like that. But these are really the people who drive me to do what I do every day. So some of the things we'll talk about are, you know, what do you want to talk about for or regarding EMS and moving to EMS? Feel free to type your questions in the chat window. Joel will take a look at them. If they need an answer right away, he'll, you know, kind of interrupt and talk about it. Otherwise, we'll bring them up at the end. We'll talk about Kentico EMS, your current implementation, a little bit about CMS, your strategy to move to EMS, simply because the process to move to Kentico EMS is fairly simple, and your strategy if you have one. If you don't, I'm not going to give you one, but what I will do is help you with some areas that you can try and develop your own strategy. And we'll talk about some real-life examples. We'll have the process of moving to EMS, which is pretty simple, and as I mentioned, the real-life examples. So getting into it here, Kentico EMS, what Kentico defines us as is an enterprise marketing solution as an integrated customer experience management solution that extends the Kentico CMS Ultimate Edition with additional enterprise and marketing features. So enterprise marketing features are content personalization, lead scoring, analytics, avid and multivariant testing, campaign and conversion management, email marketing, and marketing automation. So what this does is these features allow or empower the marketers to deliver optimized real-time customer-centric marketing across multiple channels. So some of the tools to attract visitors are blogging, social posting, automated posting, some pretty fantastic SEO abilities. There's some tools to convert leads, like landing pages, forms, which you can map over to contact information, lead management, different CTAs or calls to action, and then tools to close your customers on, like marketing automation, analytics, email marketing, email campaigns. These are just some of the tools that Kentico offer. So your current implementation, out of the people that are on, I'd like you just to type in the chat here and we can talk about later. But how many of you are on CMS? If you're in CMS, just type CMS. If you're on EMS, type EMS. And how many of you are actually using, if you're on EMS, how many of you are actually using the EMS features that are there? Are you looking at upgrading? What version are you on? And where are you looking to upgrade? Or are you just a settler? Are you just going to hang out at the current version you're at, maybe upgrade your license, and go from an ultimate or a base to an ultimate to an ultimate to an EMS license? And if you don't plan on upgrading, why not? You know, those are things I'm interested in hearing, and we can talk about towards the end if you'd like. So what we want to do here is, you know, start with strategy and really not technology. We don't want to go and try and find a tool right away to figure out what the problem is, because the tool really isn't going to fix the problem unless we know what the problem is. So, here's a great statement by Miles Kingston. Knowledge is knowing that, a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put that into a fruit salad. So, what I like to point out here is that my dad did construction for 35 years. I grew up doing that. I helped him out when I was a kid. I remember being 7 or 8 years old, going out in the morning and helping him load his truck, going to the work site and hanging out for the day, mainly eating his lunch and listening to the other guys that worked for him talk trash and, things I wasn't supposed to hear as I was, 8, 9, 10 years old. But essentially, it was always about planning. He planned out the day before, the week before, whenever a new job or a new, excuse me, when he had a new job coming, he'd always have a blueprint that he'd put prior to putting in a foundation. So he'd have a blueprint he'd look at. He'd take this blueprint and look at it, evaluate it, and then get things ready for putting in that foundation for a new house or putting in a foundation for a new garage. But he never started without that blueprint. Strategy is really that. You need to have the strategy in place before you can go to this tool, which is Kentico, and start putting things in place and clicking and turning things on. Again, remember that Kentico really is a tool to accomplish, your how are we going to get this done, and your why is your strategy. Why do we need this? Really, what are you looking for your website to do? Do you want to create new subscribers to your blog? Do you want to drive customers to buy new products? Whether or not those products are, virtual products or physical products, you have to really figure out what that why is for you. So, nowadays capturing information is easier than ever, and a lot of people get into, this information data overload, and they're lost as to where they're going to go with all this data they have. So, what we want to do is, get our strategy in place. We want to figure out what this strategy is. We want to look at, an initial meeting with either our end client, or if you are the person at your company who is responsible for the website, you're going to have this initial meeting with your business users or your business group that is really looking to improve the website. So, you really want to find out as much as you can about your client. I'll use air quotes here and say your client, whether or not it's an internal client or an external client, and get a good idea on what their needs may be even before they talk to them, or even before you talk to them. Want to listen, take a lot of notes, as many notes as you can if you're not a good note taker. Do what you can to scratch down the information that you hear. If you're able to record it, recording is pretty good. Not a lot of people allow that, but it's good. So use the lawyer rule. Only answer a question that you know the answer to. If you don't know that answer, be honest with them. Tell them that you'll get back to them. Tell them, don't tell them that you don't know. Tell them we'll figure out that and we'll get you the correct answer, or we'll talk with somebody who may know more details about it. No Kentico EMS or no just Kentico in general, or have someone listening who does. That's always a great back pocket tool to have. If you don't have somebody who knows EMS or Kentico in general, then you want to talk with somebody after that and give them your elevator speech of the notes that you took and what your client is looking for, so they can try and translate some of that into how we might get this to function or work in, or what Kentico may have for shortcomings. You really want to understand and sell the value of your client achieving their goals. So, as you listen to them speak and talk about what their goals are, they want to increase membership, or they want to increase the number of subscribers on their blog. You want to take note of those things and state, okay, I understand you want to increase the subscription of your blog from 10 people to 20 people. You want to have 100% growth. You know, what kind of time frame are you looking for? You know, things like that. You want to really understand and tell them that you understand what they're looking for. So when you have a follow-up meeting, you want to restate the goals that or your client's goals. So, you know, not only are your clients going to talk about what their goals, increasing, you know, membership subscriptions, or memberships or blog subscriptions, but reinstate what your goals are for them. Yeah, if you have specific goals in mind that you're looking for your client, then again, state those to them. Show them how you'll help achieve these goals. So, you know, you've talked a lot about different tools that you might use, but show them how you might get from point A to point B. Whether or not you're going to use Kentico, whether or not you may use a third-party tool, but just give them a high-level overview on how you might help them achieve those goals. Talk about the process and how it fits in with their strategy. So, you know, the business or your client is talking from a high-level standpoint. What you want to do is talk about a little bit more about a business process that you may have and how that is going to fit in with their strategy and meeting their goals. So that marry the two together, and then give them a proposal. You know, you've spent the time listening to them. You spent the time generating a business plan or a statement of work, and now you want to give them that proposal and talk to them about it. And, you know, don't be afraid to talk about potential costs that go around it, whether or not it's the license upgrade, whether or not it's your hourly rate or your fixed rate, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to talk with them about it. You want to be open with them and upfront. So, you know, now it's time to get to work. Again, strategy is different and unique for each company and client, and you know, look at knowledge versus wisdom. You know, do you really want to put that tomato in a fruit salad? You know, remember, Kentico EMS is how we're going to accomplish it, and your strategy is really why you're going to accomplish it. So now we're going to talk about some of the features that Kentico offers and can help with some of the shortcomings that your website may have. Content personalization and segmentation here. Kentico is really learning about your visitor when you start personalizing content. You think about how you present the content to the visitor, and what the scale will be for lead scoring and what actions will trigger based on rankings. So lead scoring is another feature that we'll talk about, but essentially what you're doing is with personalization, you put content on a page, and as people visit these pages, you can score them based on what pages they're visiting or what sequence they're following through your website. So as they start going through different pages, you can start scoring them higher and deliver different content to them. And as their score starts getting higher and higher, you can start performing other actions, which, you know, may not specifically be delivering different content to them, but maybe we're going to start some marketing automation or email marketing, which we'll talk about in a minute. So website analytics. Google Analytics offers some great tools, and I don't, you know, shy away from using that in conjunction with Kentico Analytics, mainly because with the Kentico Analytics, they are directly integrated with all of the rest of the EMS features. So they're helpful when you want to get immediate results and you start looking into what you have in the website, where you don't have to go away from your other, you don't have to go away from Kentico and look in Google Analytics. You can look right in Kentico and get immediate reports for specific pages that you're looking at. You can get overall reports for the whole site. Use these analytics in conjunction with what Google Analytics offer to help make modifications to your website. And make sure, I can't stress this enough, make sure that you have enough data to make reasonable decisions. You don't want to make specific navigation changes just because, say, a president or CEO said that this doesn't look right, we want to move it here. Well, if you are able to prove that it is looking good and it is working properly and we're getting quite a few clicks on that, or where people are going to that, you don't want to move that. You want to provide some data to that person or to that group of people to say, hey, this is why we have it here, and if we move it, there's a good chance that it may not go well for us. So A/B on multivariant testing. So this is a pretty interesting tool that I've just started using here. I'm not sure if I said this. I'm not an EMS expert by any means, but this here offers the ability to get in and make minor changes to your website and have every other person go to this new version of a page, or every third person go to a new version of a page, and happens when you give them that different version of a page. So an example is having, here we go, an example would be, I have this credit union I work with that has some items in here, some different checking accounts that they offer, and down at the bottom they have a Learn More button. A simple change may be having the same page with a Learn More button on the checking account that they're promoting for that month. So just a simple placement of a button or simple wording changes. We don't want to readjust the whole layout of the page. We just want to make small changes for A/B testing. It lets you automate decision making based on the facts, so you can get in and see which people are converting more, which people are clicking that Learn More button. That's really the big thing that we want. We want to see what people are going to do. If they're coming to these pages to learn about checking accounts and they have to go down to the bottom and they maybe never see that Learn More button, if we place it up higher, what's going to happen? So before you make these great big changes to your site, the whole point of A/B testing is to be able to get this data to prove that you need or you should make this change. So you want to have enough traffic to justify that decision. Run your tests for several weeks, if not months, before making that decision to say, hey, this placement over here on the right is better than the placement on the left. Or maybe we put buttons after every one that go to specific landing pages that talk about that. Those are things that you want to have enough data before you start moving into making these big changes on your site. Campaign management. Think of traditional marketing like billboards, magazine ads, etc. Did that campaign work? Did the visitor convert? And moreover, how do you know that campaign worked or that visitor converted? Do you have them fill out a form at the end? Do you have them tell you when they sign up, or when they become a customer? Do you have them mail you a sheet of paper? How do those traditional marketing efforts work, or how do you know that they worked? What are some best practices in creating a campaign? When possible, offer something of high value and low cost to you. I don't want to say the cheaper route is the better route, but if it gets that information to the end user who's looking for these specific items or this group of specific items, or just something at a high level, to get them to come in to look at more specific items, the cheapest and easiest way to go is email marketing. That's a low-cost solution for a lot of people. Another best practice is eliminating the risk and gaining the trust. You don't want to oversell and underdeliver. You want to be able to say, hey, we've got this great deal. Come take a look. Click on this button. Come take a look. Show them what the great deal is, and hope for the best. See if they convert over into a new customer. or a new subscription, or a new whatever it might be. Remove the hurdles to your sale. Make a simple form to get in there and sign up or purchase, whatever they're looking for. Remove some of those navigation items up at the top. Think about going to Amazon or any other online purchasing place, maybe bestbuy.com or something like that. You look at when you get into that shopping cart, and when you start checking out, the page changes. There is no real way to get back and start looking for more things to put in your cart. They see that you're in the cart. They want you to check out. Remove those little hurdles. Let them finish the sale. And create a new partnership, not just a client-vendor relationship. You want to be in it for the long run, and so does your client. They want to keep you around. They don't want to have to reinvest and have somebody else learn their business. You want to be around for the long haul. You want to help out them the best you can or the best you know how. Contact management. So this is one of the easiest and one of the most deadliest things you can turn on. Contact management in prior versions of Kentico, we'll say earlier than version 8.0, was pretty tough. It didn't handle a lot of customers. I think you could get up to 200,000 customers or contacts with okay performance. Once you started getting over that number, then it started causing problems. There were significant changes in 8 and even 8.2 and 9, so now contacts are upwards of a million or more without any issues. Kentico does offer a CRM-like model. It is a basic CRM model that works very well for folks who do not have a CRM already. There is integration with other tools like Salesforce, I believe data.com, and a lot of these integrations are fairly straightforward and simple. If you have a new contact that submits a form on somebody who's interested, you say that they have a score of 100 before they get sent over to Salesforce or to data.com or wherever it might be. This data then transfers from as a lead into your other third-party tool. Kentico does have some other internal tools for connections that aren't in there already, like Dynamic CRM and Zendesk. If you're interested in further integration, though, there is a survey out there, and I hope that you would go to this link here and fill this out and tell Kentico and their product developers more about what kind of integration you're looking for. As I mentioned, right now there is no integration with Dynamic CRM, and I know that a lot of folks do use that. So I think that's what they're looking for, is more information as to how they can help people out and offer that integration as well. So email marketing. I personally use contact management, analytics, email marketing, and I'm very happy with the minimal effort I have spent to get these items up and running. Email marketing is very effective and inexpensive. The key is you have to make your email content engaging. People won't read your email, then it's not doing you any good to send out the email to them. One of the important things from a technical standpoint is you don't want to compromise your web server. You want to use some type of third-party service to preserve your server integrity. And some of the things that I've used in the past are Amazon, SendGrid, SMTP to go. A lot of these, I just implemented a SendGrid account. They're free up to 25,000 emails per month. So if you go over 25,000 emails, it's still fairly inexpensive to use these SMTP services. It just makes sense to use these and send them out instead of using your own server's SMTP server. You want to use the email marketing in conjunction with conversion management. So, you send out these emails with pertinent information in, and people start looking at them and clicking. What you want to do is start that lead scoring and say, hey, somebody clicked on this link in an email, we're going to give them 10 points because they look like they're interested. Now, when they come back to the site, maybe we deliver some different content to them. Remember, back to the content personalization, if their score is a little bit higher, we're going to deliver some more specific information to them. And always use the contact email in your email links. It allows for better tracking and conversion management. Essentially what this does is you can see more activity from a user as they start clicking through links. It's recorded with that contact's activity. It allows you to see what their history has been over the last couple months or years or whatever it might be. Marketing automation. I personally think this is the best part of Kentico EMS. It allows you to set up different triggers. So again, we'll go back to the lead scoring and say, customer so-and-so visited our site, they filled out a form, they have X number of points. What we want to do now is they filled out this form and they got an autoresponder, and say 3 days after that, we're going to go and set up a trigger to email them and say, hey, we see that you're interested in this, maybe you're interested in this as well. And then if they click on that link, or a link or two links in that second email and come back, say their score goes up again. They go from 100 points up to 130 points. Now we take that and have a triggers at 130 points that goes out, X number of days after that first email goes out, and sends them some more information. So we're doing some drip marketing that works out really well in most cases. The key is to not be annoying and set up your triggers in a smart way. You want to know when to call it quits. You want to send them information often, but you don't want to send it too often, because what will end up happening is they're going to take and get rid of their subscription. They're going to unsubscribe to your marketing campaign, and now you've lost a potential lead for future sales or growth or whatever it might be. So the ultimate goal here is, Kentico EMS and strategy. We want to turn a casual visitor into a believer into a client, and a client into a evangelist. Jeez. So that's really the ultimate goal. I noticed here I talked a lot about lead scoring, and I didn't include a slide in here. I think I may have accidentally deleted that. So I'll go through and I'll add that slide back. And what I'll do now is I'll just talk about it a little bit so it's here. But lead scoring, as I've talked about here a little bit, allows you to define your own scoring rules. Essentially, what you're doing is you're taking and saying, anytime somebody visits a page or clicks on a button, we're going to define that activity, and we're going to give it X number of points. And as people navigate through or go around to your website clicking on pages, they're going to see Kentico is learning more and more about what this person's doing, and they're going to start giving they're going to start increasing their score. So as their score increases, what will end up happening is we can start automating, using marketing automation to send out emails, to deliver different content, things on that line. So again, I apologize for not having that slide in there as I talk about it so much, but I'll include that here for folks to download later. So moving to Kentico EMS, it's really about a license. It's about some money on license. You take your CMS license and you upgrade it to an EMS license. If your installation was done in such a manner that it has all of the features already installed, then all we do is add a new license, in the licensing application, and it'll have a EMS license edition, and now the other tools are unlocked. Some of the things that you may want to consider as you're moving to EMS is upgrading. If you're on version 7, before you move to EMS, I would highly suggest you upgrade to at least 8.2. If you're not able to upgrade, then I'd go back and do a little more research as to why. If you have a lot of customizations, if you have a lot of issues, then you may want to try and get those fixed before you try and put another piece on top of this big puzzle. I talked about the process here. You purchase the EMS license. You can get that information from your Kentico partner, your Kentico salesperson, and then you install the license in that Kentico instance you're on. The process is fairly simple and easy. Next, you want to go through and enable your strategy, and your strategy should not simply be clicking a checkbox to turn on activity tracking, or enable lead scoring and just using the out-of-the-box activities and scores that are already in there. Those are simply tools for you to look at and to gauge your strategy on, but you want to make sure that you have your strategy in place and then go with that strategy and start adding those features and tools within Kentico, turning them on. So I have 3 client examples that I'm going to talk about. They're pretty high level, but they have some great detail as to, for the most part, what I've worked through in the past couple of years. And hopefully they give you some insight as well as to, how things may work or could work for you. So I've got a nonprofit membership organization. This is one of the clients I've had for quite a long time. They've been with me since I started using Kentico, actually. Even before that, before I started using Kentico, I built and rebuilt a couple of their sites in straight HTML. Then we migrated them to Kentico in 2010, I believe. Yeah, I think they're on version 5. So they have 550 members or so. They have a small annual membership fee. They have about 20 to 25 members that are added every year, which is fairly good, but they also have about 10 who don't renew every year. They want to add products to their site, which are 10 to 12. They're pretty minor. A couple of hats, belt buckles, t-shirts, things like that, and then a couple downloadable documents. One of the biggest expenses they have is printing a newsletter 3 times per year. This newsletter costs them, if I remember their numbers right, it's like $2,200 a year, or I'm sorry, $2,200 each instance to print and mail out. Since their membership is over or throughout the world, they ship a lot of these printed newsletters overseas, which costs quite a bit instead of just shipping them out into the U.S. They have one membership director and one content editor who is not very technical at all to manage their about 80 or 90 pages on their website. So as I alluded to already here, they have some issues with newsletter printing because it costs so much, and they have some issues with content management because the person who is managing this is a math instructor at a college, and she's very good with what she does, but she doesn't get in and change content very often. Membership management is tough. A lot of their membership management is done in an Excel file. To try and automate or change some of that so it's more involved in the website and they can use the website database to manage their membership. And the website doesn't generate any revenue. It costs them money every year, but they're not getting any revenue or money back from it every year. So the solution that we're going to look at implementing here is Kentico EMS. We want to add and update existing content. We want to have more CTAs to join so we can increase that membership to 5% from the 1% or so that they're at right now. We want to have their contact management is there. As I mentioned, they want to manage all their contacts in the website. They want to get down to two personas. The majority of the people who come to their site talk on a forum. They post pictures, they talk about tractors, they do different things that engage each other from people who are overseas. And then they could be the new person who just happens to come and looking for the site and is not a member. One of the benefits of being a member is they can actually post on the forum, and then some of the other membership benefits that they get. So instead of newsletters, they are going to initially opt everyone into their email marketing campaign and generate 4 newsletters a year instead of 3. And for the folks who still want to get a paper copy, they'll offer that to them, but it will go in the cost of their membership. They'll up their membership $5 or something on that line. So they'll have activity tracking and lead scoring. They want to be able to make some educated decisions on, places they're changing within their pages and content they're changing on their website. And one of the goals I mentioned is that they want to increase their memberships, new memberships and renewals up to 5% from the 1% they're currently at. The regional credit union they opened in 1963. They've got $800 million US dollars in assets. They have 11 different branch locations, which have actually acquired a new branch or a new company, which will give them 12 branch locations here by the end of August. 2,500 employees and about 65,000 members. They have 2 content editors and around 500 pages of content that they manage. It's a very content-heavy website. They have many clicks to get to the information that is needed. For instance, if somebody wants to sign up for a new checking account, it takes at least 3 clicks to get into signing up for that new checking account. There's no call to action on their home page, sign up here or do any of that. There's none of that. You always have to click and search and find it. They run multiple campaigns per month, which is a bit of a challenge for them because they're running everything through Google right now, and they have a third-party system. They've implemented 2 third-party systems for their email marketing, which have been very challenging and not allowed them to get a full 360-degree view of what their signups are, their leads are, and what could potentially be happening. And they have multiple pages for each product or service they offer. So they're not really taking advantage of some of the features that Kentico offer in their website. They're simply recreating content that could be different in one place or another. So what we've done, we've went through the process. We purchased a license. We've implemented EMS. And now we're in the process of building out the strategy. We're going to use avid and multivariant testing. They've actually started using that already and created some, minor changes on their website. They've one of the examples I showed earlier was the, placement of a button. We've placed forms in different places. Instead of having the content, the really heavy, 4 and 5 paragraphs of content on the top of a page, we're putting things side by side now. We're changing the layout from a single column to a 2-column layout where the form is on the right or the left side and the content is on the left side. Sorry, the form is on the left side, the content's on the right side. We're working on generating personas for the different types of folks who will come into the website so we can deliver them different content. We're working with lead scoring right now. Activity tracking and contact management. So they have their own CRM, their own internal CRM that manages all their members right now. But what we're here is managing all the contacts that are, potential leads. We don't want to deal with a whole lot of members who are already out there, although we've talked about this and are looking at importing all of the users or all of their members into Kentico as contacts so we can get some activity tracking done there and send out some emails and so on and so forth from a form out of Kentico instead of their other third-party systems that they're using. So one of their goals, again, is to increase membership, and they've got a goal to increase membership. They also have another goal to increase the number of accounts that people sign up for, that existing members sign up for. So we can increase those or meet those goals by using these tools that Kentico has along with their strategies. The third client that I work with is a national utility locating company. They opened in 1999. They're a private utility company that has grown into a national company throughout the U.S. They've got 125 employees, which include office staff and technical staff who actually go out and do the work. And their content editor is the VP of Information Technology, which is quite a bit of a challenge. She's very good with all of the technical aspect of it. She understands the high-level aspect of it. She understands Kentico, but really not a job that a VP should be maintaining, editing content. They have 150 pages. Their website is I put in here, their old site was content heavy, so what they did is they went 180 degrees and made their website less content, with less content, but they also made it harder to navigate. So people really have a hard time understanding what's on this site and what this utility locating company is really about. They also run multiple campaigns per month. As I mentioned here, their new site removed a lot of content, so there's no real information about the service or services they offer. And they've really hit a plateau in their lead generation. They've got great retention, but they're not really generating any new clients or customers. So for them, they already had an EMS license. They weren't really using any of the features for the EMS license. So we're looking at implementing some avid testing, some lead scoring, activity tracking, and contact management with integration to Salesforce. Right now, there's some custom code that's written to send over potential leads to Salesforce when in fact within Kentico you can put in you can fill in 3 or 4 fields and enable leads to be sent over to Salesforce with a click of a button, which is kind of nice. We've got into a few goals, which I'm not really going to talk about right now because we haven't really got them hard set yet. But some of the goals are, really to get this this plateau into an uphill climb again, where we can start going to increasing our leads and getting more clients that we can retain throughout the years. So this is really it right now. I don't have any more client examples, but hopefully this helped out everybody who's listening, or you've got at least one good nugget out of this. Summary here, contrary to what my kids say, I am a really good dad. Kentico is simply a tool. It will not fix your problem. It will surely help, but it won't fix your problem. And you really want to focus on your strategy for your business. Don't focus around what Kentico can do or doesn't do. There's always other tools or pieces of software out there that can help you with implementing your strategy, even if Kentico can't. So now we'll open it up for questions. I'll leave my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But I'll bring Joel back in, and if he's come across any questions or you guys have typed in any questions during the presentation, if you have any now you want to ask, feel free to ask them. Thanks again for listening and coming on.
Thank you, Brenden. I appreciate you taking the time and imparting a lot of good info today. I'll watch for questions here. We'll give it a couple of minutes. And while anyone might be formulating a question or anything like that, I just want to remind everyone again, please feel free to go visit the website for the user group. It's just kenticousergroup.org. And we'll actually have Brendan's presentation up there, a recording of it, I believe probably later tomorrow. So if you want to go take a look, again, encourage you to explore the site. There's some previous sessions and then as well. And then the other thing too, just to mention to everyone, there's also a link to Brendan's blog on the homepage of the site. And there's a contact us form, which is mainly to like suggest a topic. And then events that are coming up, just to give everyone a quick heads up, in July, there's an event on July 20, or a webinar on July 20th around the Bootstrap layout web part. So a little bit more of a, not a technical deep dive, but a little bit more technical. Then we have another one around the EMS platform. It's called Reducing Churn via Predictive Analytics. That's on September 21. And then later, we're skipping October, and then on November 16th, we're going to have like a panel discussion, a recap of what came out of the Kentico 404 conference. This year it's going to be all around kind of the learnings that Kentico partners have gone through, especially, and clients as well, things that maybe didn't go so well, hopefully not disasters, but there should be a lot of interesting discussion in that session. So again, strongly encourage you to take a look at future events, previous recordings, whatever is helpful there. Some of the different MVPs like Brenden, his blog is there. So again, please explore the site. Let us know what you would like to hear. We're only as good as the suggestions we get sometimes for topics. Right now, Brenden, I'm not seeing any additional questions. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of close things out and just say thank you again to you, Brenden, for being part of the session today, and hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Feel free to follow up directly with Brenden if you have questions, or give us a heads up on the Kentico user group if you have other things you want to learn about. We'll be in touch with Brenden and kind of keep him in the loop here of any questions that follow on. So awesome. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Joel.
Yep, and thank you again, Brenden. Take care, everyone.